Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mandy and today we're going to be talking about cursive handwriting and more specifically my son's cursive handwriting that you guys have asked so many questions about over on my Instagram. I get comments all the time asking how they can get their child to have the kind of handwriting my child has. I'm going to answer some of those questions today. So if it's your first time here, welcome. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button because it does help me and my channel out, and make sure that you check out the Facebook group down below where we have over 700 homeschool moms where we just sit around all day and talk about curriculum. Okay, so let's talk about handwriting, guys. So my son is in 4th grade. He's about to be in 5th grade, and a couple weeks ago, I posted a picture on Instagram and you guys went crazy and it was funny. Honestly, it was really kind of humorous for me because I don't think I realized until then how good his handwriting was. Now I will say I knew his handwriting was better than mine, okay? And in college, when you're becoming a teacher, I don't know if they still do this, but they actually made me take a course. It was part of one of my classes that had a handwriting class inside. So like I actually had to learn how to write properly like a teacher. And I still do some of those things, but not trying to out my age here. It's been a few minutes. With that said, my son's handwriting is better than mine. And I knew that, but I thought maybe I just had sloppy handwriting. But then I started getting all of these comments on Instagram from you guys asking me what I was doing, what handwriting curriculum we're using, why is his cursive so pretty? And some of you guys, I think, actually kind of thought that I was writing his papers for him and passing it off as his. It's not, I promise. I promise. I will actually show you samples of his work. So let's talk about what I did. So here is one of his spelling tests that I actually had on Instagram. And here is another paper that he did. So you guys can kind of see, you know, we still have to work on the slant guide. The slant is the hardest part, but his letter formations are actually really good, even when he doesn't spell everything correctly. And this is him learning how to write in pen. So some of it is traced over, some of it he wrote himself, and then he always writes this on another piece of paper as well. And then Abeka's letter formation guide, we always have right beside his desk. So what we do is we have a bulletin board right up here, and where that thumbtack is where I have this guide. And if there's ever a question of what the letter looks like, because as you can see, this is such a traditional form of letters that not a lot of the newer cursive posters for the wall actually have everything the same way, especially the Q. You can see that like the Q looks more like a 2. Most guides today don't look like this, so we just resigned to tearing this out, making copies, and putting it on the wall for him. So all of this is right up here where he can see it, and it makes it a lot easier. All right, so here's the thing, a little backstory here. My son begged, begged is more of the correct word. He begged me to do cursive writing in 1st grade. When I was ordering 1st grade and 5th grade, I was ordering Abeka's language arts curriculum. You guys know I've been using Abeka language arts for quite a few years. We had been using Abeka at that point, and my youngest was getting ready to go into 1st grade from kindergarten. And they had 2 choices at that point in Abeka. You could do the manuscript, which is the print, or you could do the cursive. I was just gonna do the manuscript. I honestly did not think that kids need to be doing cursive until like 2nd or 3rd grade. It was not one of those things I was overly concerned about, but he personally asked for it. I didn't even ask him which one he wanted. He just saw his brother doing cursive in Abeka, and he had an interest in it, and he was like, I really want to try it. And he begged me, and I said, okay, I will get you those, but if they're too difficult, if you can't get it, then we're gonna switch to the manuscript, and I'm gonna order the manuscript workbooks. Flash forward a couple months later, He loves it. He starts writing everything in cursive. So he's had a lot of practice just because he thought it was cool because his big brother was doing it. You know how it is when it's a monkey see, monkey do type of thing. So with Abeka, it comes with several things, okay? So it comes with some kind of workbook depending on the grade that they're in. So you could have a much more juvenile workbook, and then when they're in 5th grade, they have a much more complex one. Of course, it's going to go up in skill with age and grade. So he's in 4th right now, and right now this is the book that he has. This is the Penmanship Mastery 1, and he's been doing only Abeka cursive. So here's the thing with cursive handwriting, not all of them are the same, and I don't think that you really realize that until you start buying different company stuff. My oldest was in school, like public school, until 3rd grade when we pulled him out, and his cursive is completely different because he did not have that foundation of writing in the same curriculum's cursive program since he was little. And he didn't start cursive till like 3rd grade either. So not only did he get a much later start, but then he started in the school system. So when we changed over to Abeka, he had a lot of catching up to do as far as penmanship skills. And Abeka, in my opinion, Abeka judges penmanship pretty tough. They have samples in their teacher manual. It looks like this. I have the older one. I don't have the newer one yet. This is the Language Arts 4, so this is for 4th grade. They have samples of handwriting to help you guide and give a grade as far as their cursive writing. It's hard to grade cursive writing. I'm not even gonna joke around with that. I used to teach, and I think it's difficult to really judge and grade cursive. So they have like samples to show you like what is above average, what is average, what is below average, and then it's kind of just up to you to figure out which grade you want to give your kid. So what does it actually come with? So you get some kind of workbook that looks like this, and then in almost every single one that we've used, we get 2 other papers to help. One is this guide here, which is a cursive formation guide. And one of the things that I would do is I would run copies off of this. I would laminate it or put it in a protective sheet, and I would give my son a dry erase marker, and he would trace over the lines. And sometimes I would just give him the book, and he would put a piece of paper over the top, and he could see through the paper, and he would just trace on top of the book too. So he had practice doing that. So those are some of the things that we did. One of the things that I find very difficult, I know my oldest found difficult, was the slant guide. And I know it's a little difficult to see, but you can kind of see the lines that go diagonally down the paper. This is what they call the slant guide. And the slant guide is supposed to go underneath the paper, and they're supposed to write on the slant. I find this difficult for myself to use. I don't know, maybe it's because I grew up without this, but I can tell you a couple of things that made the biggest difference is using the same writing curriculum from the time they were young all the way through, and doing daily practice. Those are the 2 things that make the biggest difference. Just little handwriting exercises. So for right now, 4th grade, this is what 4th grade looks like. It's just a half sheet a day, and this takes my son maybe 20 minutes or so because he has to copy something that's in here. So it might be a poem, it might be a verse of scripture, it might be, you know, a proverb, whatever it might be. He has to copy it so many times on his papers. He likes to write sometimes his spelling test in cursive, and that's what you guys actually saw on Instagram was his spelling test. And yes, that was actually his spelling test. It was not mine, and it was one of those times where I was like, oh wow, his handwriting is so nice on here. Like, I'm so proud of him. You guys thought so too. So yes, it is kind of weird that my kid has better handwriting than me, but he has been doing the same guide all the way through, and I think that is one of the things that makes the most difference. Also, to note that most writing curriculums differ a little bit in the letter formations. So especially letters like S and Q, I noticed really vary from curriculum to curriculum, and Becca has more of an old classic style of cursive handwriting, which I find works for me because that's actually how I learned. The only letter that's different for me is the Q. I did not learn the same Q as he did, but all of the rest of them are the same. So, you know, for me, that actually really worked out well. He does great with it. Not everybody does great in cursive. My oldest, he struggles with cursive. So it's one of those things, even if you have daily practice, don't expect it to be like over the top. And yes, when he does really well in cursive, I give him rewards. We have stickers, we love stickers. We do stickers on his paper, we praise him for it, we tell him what he could do better if there is something that he missed or misspelled, or if he didn't form his letters correctly in one or two of his words. You know, we'll tell him like, hey, you know, we'll circle this one and we'll say, hey, this one has the incorrect letter formation or is misspelled, whatever the grammar correction might be. So that is about it. That there is not a whole lot to cursive writing. Cursive writing is kind of one of those things that is independent and that I can check when I need to, but it's also one of those things that is a very nice independent subject that I don't really have to look over his shoulder with. So that's kind of nice. It's a daily practice thing that you can add in. 15 minutes a day should be about it. I hope that this was helpful for you. Let me know what writing curriculum you guys use. I've used everything from Becca to A Reason for Handwriting. I really liked that one a lot. Let me know what you guys use. I'd love to hear it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.